Florida is on fire.
What the hell is going on in Florida?
It is not because of the heat wave, people. It's not global warming. But Florida's on fire, man. Your man, Trump, he got his stuff going on in Mar-a-Lago. He's hiding.
He just set up a capital up in Florida, and I know why now.
Using top secret documents as tissue paper. He's you got
straight in the restroom, man.
You got your man Desantis.
Oh, come on.
He's out there making laws just to suit his own needs. I mean, I don't even know what's really happening. But at the end of the day, Florida is Florida really in a state of chaos? I'm going to start off with my queen right here and let her break it down for you.
They're in trouble now.
Well, first, legislation in one state, it does affect others. So that's why we're talking about Florida, because it goes beyond its borders. So let's start there.
Yeah, it does.
Some sources, just let me throw them out there already. Time.com, actually DeSantis' platform, FloridaGov.com as well, some sources that you can find. I'm going to start off first with the one with the education. If anybody does know, there was a controversial statement in some of the standards of Florida Department of Education. I'm going to read it, quote, word for word. Instruction includes how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. So where or how would a slave benefit from being a slave?
We was just in trade school for 400 years. You know what I'm saying? DeVry University. That's what they're calling that.
So it's very disturbing. Florida teaches, or basically DeSantis' platform, is discussion of topics such as sexism, slavery, racial oppression, should be discussed in an age-appropriate, manner. I agree with that. Does not indoctrinate or persuade students to a certain point of view that is inconsistent with the principles of individual freedoms. Once again, the statement and the standard itself are contradictory because slaves did not have individual freedoms. We were owned. And this is a standard that is required by the state to teach children about slavery.
Erase it. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
He even went on, and just a backdoor online to here. He even made it illegal to where they can't use pronouns shooting at the LGBTQ community.
Right.
I mean, all bets are off with DeSantis when it comes to Florida, and he's not hiding who he is. It's bad when your state looks worse than Mississippi. Like when in Florida.
Right.
I like Florida, man. I go to Orlando every damn year.
Yeah.
Love Tampa. Love Ybor City. Yeah. Love Florida as a state. But what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? It's this war on wokeness that he has going on. DeSantis, Italian descent. He's an immigrant. His people are immigrants, and he ships off immigrants. His grandfather was first part of the Italian diaspora. I can't say that word. If I can't say it, I can't spell it.
Okay.
If I can't say it, I can't spell it. But either way it goes, he's an immigrant sending away immigrants. Teaming up with Greg Abbott, our favorite governor in the world right there, and just doing disrespectful stuff to people who are trying to benefit like his family benefited. You know what I'm saying? And back to the matter about him talking about slavery being the trade school for black people, and we benefited from it. No, we would have benefited off that 40 acres and a mule. That's what we would have benefited off of. And we still trying to work that out. That's called reparations, and that's a whole different show. So we won't even get into that. But that, and also he made a sly comment about baseball, because he used to be a baseball player in Yale. Okay, and he kind of made a comment that, with the skills and all that good stuff, he was a baseball player because he wasn't a freak of nature that came from slavery where he could play basketball or football. So basically he was sorry. He couldn't, he couldn't play. But either way it goes, he's trying to whitewash slavery, which a lot of far right people are trying to do, to where it wasn't so bad. And y'all benefited from it. You guys became millionaires because y'all are the football players and the basketball players, which is definitely way under 1% of our population. And also just all kinds of crazy stuff. So that state ran under a guy who's currently running for president right now. Is just doing ridiculous things to fight wokeness, which wokeness is just really, the term came, in the 2010s. It's been out since the 30s. Erykah Badu made it famous when she sang about it. But it's basically being aware racially. It's usually for white people who aren't aware racially. Now they're woke. That's where that comes from. Well, the far right has turned that into a negative connotation by saying that basically it's anti-white is what they're using it as, which once again falls into a race battle that we're doing. And basically Desantis is really got this war against anything that's going to talk about race or benefit race or talk about how things are done in this nation that didn't benefit us. And it goes straight to education because he, and Juan, you can chip in on this though, but he basically mandated the public schools to teach that slavery was a benefit.
When you have a standard, like in Texas, we have TEKS, right? Texas Education, Knowledge, and Skills. In Florida, they have the same thing, and that is one of their standards, and it's required. So that's required. And again, they say age appropriate, but I don't think that statement in itself is appropriate any time frame because it's just not factual, okay? I don't think we should teach, once again, if we're talking about how it makes people feel, me sitting in a room with my skin tone, that you're telling me some of my ancestors went through this grievous, situation that they benefited somehow. I mean, that's just, as a parent, I would be in the Florida office. We're going to have a discussion on what you are teaching my child. So that's some things to me, of course, there were some good standards. I'm not going to sit there and say all the standards in Florida were bad, but there were some very questionable standards that are in there. And if we really want to, delve in about what you should be questioning about what your child is learning, that would be one.
Yeah, it's it's off the chain right now, especially in Florida. And this cat here, I think he has on the cool, he's trying to mimic Trump in so many ways. Trump brought it to where, he spoke so boldly, right? He just spoke so boldly in the media. And Ron's trying to have the same type of persona as well. But
he's trying to win that base.
He's trying to win that base.
Yeah.
And for him to say that woke dies in Florida.
Yeah.
And then he also says the woke mind virus represents a war on merit. It represents a war on achievement. And I'm like, all right. They take our culture, they take everything that we talk about and we bring it into a more of a culture where everybody's involved with it. And then they want to do the opposite with it. What is it, CRT?
Critical race theory.
Yeah, the critical race theory. That's mind blowing on how he's got to change the books and don't ban, don't say gay and but he's trying to grab Trump's home base. He's trying to grab that fan base.
That won't win the presidency, bro. That's half the nation.
Yeah.
They get you pretty close, but they ain't gonna win the presidency. Once again, the presidency is gonna be won by the independents. You know what I'm saying? And if you think that they want that, you're out of the question. I mean, the thing is like you said, it's a trickle down theory. If one state starts doing these things and seeing success, then next thing Texas is right behind them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We damn near there. We can't talk too much. You know what I'm saying? We behind enemy lines over here. Dealing with the wheelchair guru, Greg Abbott, that just unbelievably runs this state so great. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being a minority, they're coming for us. And DeSantis, and when I say they, DeSantis is coming for us. He's not taking any. He's not shying away from it. He's not being cute with it, and he's representing a people that decide that think that, hey, you know what? Slavery was a long time ago. When people say that, I say, listen, yeah, it was. Civil rights was in 1964. My mama lived through that. I can go in the living room and talk to somebody who went through segregation. So go in the living room and talk to somebody who had to sit on the back of the bus and the whole 9 yards and hear all the stories on what they went through. So it's about, I guess, are you just that unsensitive to other people's needs or whatever the case may be to not understand what's going on? And DeSantis is, you know what I'm saying? And he's running the state that way. They're going directly for our youth and our children. They're really just trying to wipe it out of their memory. Last time we were talking about Ukraine and the war, and we're talking about how our youth really don't understand wartime. So we're talking about TikTok and we're talking about China being a threat. They don't really understand that because they didn't grow up in wartime. They don't understand that, it's countries out there that just don't like our way of life, and you don't let them invade you and do things to to penetrate you as a country. Well, you know, it's the same thing here with the history now. If we can erase the history and we can change the narrative and make it seem, hey, it wasn't so bad. As far as we start getting away with it, from generation to generation, next thing you know, they're taking away voting rights and all the other things that a lot of people fought for during the civil rights movement to make sure that we had as a people.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, the history shows it was bad. I don't care how you twist it and try to change it.
They're trying to block it, though.
Trying to block it.
If you can't read 1619, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to know. And a lot of people don't know. You know, if you start talking about American history, because they don't teach it in the books. When we was in school, they didn't do it. You know, you would think that black people just popped up from somewhere. We were here before the nation was here. Yeah. And that's what 1619 basically tells you. Slavery was here way before the nation was here. We helped create this nation. Crispus Attucks was the first person shot, which was a free black man, but he was a black man that got shot in the Revolutionary War. We were here. So the narrative, like there's a country that's being taken away from somebody, we're talking about it's our country too. We bled here and did that too. We built this country too. You know what I'm saying? We were here. You know what I'm saying? And now for you to go through and try to, you know, pass legislation to where you're not going to teach that and understand the history of this country is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
because
that's why we're talking about Florida today. Yeah.
It's about feelings and how everybody felt. But nobody, I guess my biggest concern is I look at, you know, because I'm in the education system, about people who look like me as well, sitting in classrooms. Nobody was fighting for them back in the day. Nobody fought for me when I was the only one sitting in the classroom. And then we get to the slavery part and everybody looking at you, staring at you like you have some, or you should have some type of a comment or perspective in that, you know. But we need to fight for all of our kids, I guess is what I'm saying. Not just with the education piece, but
yeah, we do.
All of it.
And
we gotta fight for everybody.
Seems like he picked on a big bully though, dealing with Disney World as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he might have bit off more than he could chew, because you know they got plenty of lawyers that are combating everything.
Yeah. He picked the wrong one right there, man.
You know, and as a pastor, you know, I was reading everything that he was talking about, and I'm like, okay, I get the LGBTQ, I get it, but you know, where's the and even from the conservative mindset a lot of clergy has, you know, I consider myself independent, just for the simple fact that depends on what the situation is, which way I might, you know, depending on what I'm dealing with, you know. Right. But to just treat the people the way they're treating them, you know, and where's the love, where's the compassion, where's the things that we're supposed to be doing, you know. And but I just think he bit off more than he could chew. You know, I had told you know, all the gay bashing that he's doing over there. And, you know, these kids, man, they get ran out their house because their mom are traditional. And I say traditional, I'm not going to say they're traditional believers in their religion. And they get kicked out their house at 14 for whatever their lifestyle is. But then you're mad at the LGBTQ for going after the child that you left. But the Bible says go after the one. Yes. The prodigal son, the lost sheep. So when are we going after that lost one? But you're mad at the LGBTQ for having organizations to go after the child that you didn't kicked out your house and is getting sex trafficked. Yeah. Is getting raped. Yeah. So those are the issues that I really have. And I was reading all that on him, and I'm like, wow.
You know what? It's funny how, and you've talked about this before, how circumstances will always drive your opinion about certain things. Like we talk about, like, hey, the Republicans are supposed to be like, hey, you know, we stay out of the way, but then they want to control abortion. Yeah. Right. So it's like, based on the consequence of the situation, you flip your whole your ethical stance, and it's crazy how we do that as a people. So
yeah, I mean they support big business, but you're gonna go try to attack big business. But you see, he got quiet when they started talking that money. Yeah, Disney got long dollars. I've been to Orlando. They should call that Disney. I mean, because like everything is pretty much up there. Right. Disney, they got their own.
Don't ever leave out Universal Studios again. Okay? Yeah, Universal Studios. That's my favorite part of Orlando.
It's okay.
No. Hey, I love Universal Studios too. Don't get me wrong, man. I've been on the Harry Potter ride. So.
Yeah.
But But Disney, I mean, they got
It's
it's crazy. Like I said, so for him to go against Disney is nuts. And when they start talking about pulling jobs and doing this and doing that, he got real quiet. Real
So
quick.
here's the thing. He thought that he could make more money by going after them. That was the whole thing. Like you said, it's really all about like the money. He thought, all right, we're not going to let you have these tax breaks. We're going to get all this tax money from you now by changing these things. You're going to say, don't say gay, then guess what? We're going to get all this money, right? You don't like my law? I'm going to take money from you. But you know what? Disney got long, like you said, long pockets.
Long pockets.
So they wasn't feeling that.
They got L.A. They got the Disneyland or what, and then they got Disney World. And I mean, and just think about all the. They got their own damn Disney Plus channel and got Star Wars on there. I mean, they got long money. They got all the Marvel. They got long money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
If
you picked the
Disney
wrong
pulled
one on
from
that.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Their
like-
whole economy is pretty much surrounded by.
Well,
Disney.
their
That's what
economy,
generates
they're hurting their
a
own
lot of
economy
money.
too with this
Hurting the
migrant
people.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Oh, I got
they
immigration.
want to. I mean, Rolanda, talk a little bit about that. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
you did some research on this.
So there's Senate Bill 1718, and that includes like the requirements for checking like the immigration, and that's what's been happening. You have a lot of immigrants that used to work in the farms and they ain't there anymore. It also checks like the status of workers, collects data from whether hospital patients. So now if you're in the hospital, actually can check your status and you can be removed as well. So he's killing the population that actually serves their community. Instead of looking at ways again of making them legal citizens, he just wants them removed. But it's having an economic
Yeah.
challenge on their
Half
economy.
your state is orange. Orange.
Pickers. They
What they call them?
Harvesters.
Orchards.
harvest,
Yeah.
Your whole damn state, you got orange trees every damn way, and yeah, I mean, you got other things, but you were built on agriculture. You got enough nerve not to have no damn immigrants. What are you talking about, man? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna go over there and
So-
do them oranges and harvest them and stuff like that. And
Yes.
you're gonna just push that labor, that labor class out. You know, are you crazy?
I'm wondering if is his and you know I'm always posing questions, trying to give him some slack, but you know I don't like Ron, but I'm just wondering what's going on in his mind. Is he thinking, hey, get rid of these immigrants, get these other people who are natives, for lack of a better term, jobs, and that will push up the wages because
Ain't nobody gonna
these
do
people
that
ain't gonna
job.
do that job for this minimal amount of money. So is he trying to get them to raise the wages? I mean, and then if that's the case, does that hurt their bottom line? Do they just like, you know what, we'll put these oranges in California or something?
Yeah, I think he's really trying to piggyback a lot off Texas, and the reason I say that is because being incarcerated, the majority percentage of the inmates in prison are the ones picking the cotton, harvesting all the vegetables, and all that is free. It's a
labor.
tax break, free labor for all these ranchers around here. And I tell everybody, I'm like, man, I picked cotton in the 90s. You pick cotton, I pick cotton, and it ain't no joke. You know, pick watermelon and peanuts and corn and strawberry, you name it, we've done it. And if he could get the inmates in the state of Florida to send them inmates out there on the side of the frontage road and harvest oranges, and there you
Now
go.
we're talking 13th Amendment.
Now we
man.
talking money.
We're talking being put back into slavery.
There
because
you
you're
go.
But we're also
incarcerated.
talking money because I don't care how little you paying these migrants. Now you're paying nothing.
Yeah. Ron DeSantis comes from an elitist class, and I always have this argument with people when they say people are racist. Well, you have racist, then you have an elitist. We went to Yale, somewhat came from money or, whatever the case may be. Trump's kind of the same way. And they have a disconnect to the world because they don't have to live in it. They're elitist, you know what I'm saying? So they don't care how things are going to affect you as long as the bottom line they're making money and they're keeping power. You know what I'm saying? And that's the position he comes from. Same thing that Trump comes from is that, hey, no matter what, I want to keep power and I want to get money. Don't get it twisted. If you think Donald Trump's running for president because he can change the world, no, he's doing it because he can
Gets
put
more
money
money
in
in
his pocket.
pockets.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's that. And DeSantis is on that same trip pretty much when you say following him, and he's going to play toward that base that's going to keep putting money in your pockets. Hey, we still don't have a wall in Texas. They had a whole fund on that. They had a whole fund on build that wall.
Still ain't up.
Ain't no wall.
Yeah.
You know, Steve Bannon took the money, he got it in his pocket, he went to prison for it. Trump pardoned him for that. You know what I'm saying? So all these little Ponzi schemes and things they got going, and they got this loyal base that are just donating to him and giving him this money. That's what they chasing, man. They're chasing that bag. And that's where he comes from. They come from that, and they don't, like you say, they don't care that they're using prisoners to pick fruit or cotton or whatever the case may be. They just honestly look at the bottom line. It's going to make them more money.
Oh, yeah, smoke and mirrors. We lose focus, you know. Again, there are certain things that I do believe for as, like he talks about the transgender and all that stuff. You know, I have girls. I don't think I'll ever want my girl being with a male in the same restroom, that aspect or whatever. But with saying that, the way that he operates, you got Nazi people out protesting in front of Disney with N-word signs.
Right.
And that is overlooked.
Yeah.
And so focus on Bud Light cans.
Yeah.
But then they out there. How did we miss that? How did we miss them Nazis are out there every day when people were trying to go enjoy themselves at Disney World, and my daughter or somebody else's daughter that's of color is going to see that.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
You know, nobody has a problem with showing us Nazis and Hitler and all that stuff. That's just, I always tell them that you just turn on the History Channel, that show's on all day long as a reminder of what's going on. But hey, you know what? Slavery was a trade. Black people they were really happy back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about, man? And why are you even going there? Like, come on. Yeah. Like, that's one thing I think the world can agree on. That slavery was kind of bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we can agree on that. The Atlantic slave trade was horrible. It was the first time in the world that slavery, well, I can't say the first time, I wasn't around, but it's a documented time that slavery was used as a business. And that's the big difference. When the Romans enslaved people and other people enslaved people, it was an act of war. They enslaved you, they kept you a couple of years, they sent you back. This slave trade made black people lifetime slaves, and we're still fighting that battle to this day.
And it's crazy. Even they changed the narrative of Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
You know, and
they sure did.
And I'm like, call me Uncle Tom. He was actually
he was the good one.
He was the good one.
He's a hero.
Yeah. You don't want to be Sambo.
Right.
Exactly.
Sambo was the one that was allowing the ranchers to rape these women and telling on the ones trying to escape.
We inherit things from the white men and what they were saying back then. Yep. White men were saying, "You're an Uncle Tom." And it seemed like, "Oh, I'm a bad Negro. I'm a bad." Yeah, because you're trying to help the other black people. That's why the master was calling people Uncle Toms. Yeah. But now we've taken and embraced that term as being a bad nigga. No, that's not what it meant.
Just read the book.
Please.
Yeah, Uncle Tom, man, you had some resistance about yourself. Yeah, they had to watch you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man, but we talking about Florida and all of the stuff that's going on there, man. I do want to ask a simple question around it. Is all the stuff that's happening in Florida going to help, like, Ron DeSantis? Let's say Trump, because right now he sucks compared to Trump. Okay, Trump in the polls is crushing.
30 points.
Yeah, but let's say Trump goes to jail. Are these actions something he's kind of like, well, you know what? I just want to do all this stuff and get it on my side of the register so that Republicans, if Trump is gone, I'm the next man up.
I see a shift in the Republican Party a little bit. I don't think it's as radical as it is. I think he's going for the base. I think that's a big mistake. Mm-hmm. I think the Republican candidate that should be good is going to be a little more moderate, a little more bit middle of the road, meaning that, yeah, of course, he's going to try to cater to the base, and some things he's going to say we're not going to like, but he's also going to try to move towards she's going to try to move towards the middle a little bit more. I think that's where DeSantis actually made a mistake. Going hardcore, just trying to chase the base, kind of insulting them and thinking, hey, you know what? All of y'all think like this, so let me start talking like this and maybe get the base. Right. I think he forgets that Trump was a celebrity. So some people just like Trump because they're just fans of Trump. Mm-hmm. They like The Apprentice. They like him. And they almost listen to him to the point to where they're not saying they're not listening to what he say, but they hear him differently because they look up in a celebrity light. Ronald Reagan was the same way. So will it help him? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's got a chance to win the primaries. I definitely think if he comes up against Joe Biden, what's going to hurt him is that I think that middle of the road people, when it comes down to it, are going to look at it. And I'm saying independents, you got one sitting here. They're going to look at it when they analyze it. They're going to say, the economy's pretty good. His infrastructure bill was good. It's a lot of things that he did. Outside of the rhetoric they're trying to say, keep throwing up Hunter Biden, end of the day, economy's up. You know what I'm saying? He's got infrastructure going on. He's making the country better and a couple other things. I ain't got a laundry list on Joe Biden. But when it comes to election time and we start calling out those issues, what are you going to have? Right. DeSantis? Oh, you stopped teaching history about black people in Florida. That's your issue. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about abortion, but yeah,
abortion
made the the 6-week abortion ban. Like you really hit a lot of these topics or made it specifically. Made it, you've shown us who you are when it comes to these topics. And I don't think suburban white mothers are going to like the fact that you're hard on abortion. That's what kills you in the midterms. You know what I'm saying? That, okay, Roe versus Wade came out. Nobody liked that. Y'all started doing all this abortion stuff state to state. Nobody liked that. And you still preaching that. How you going to do that on a national level and be successful? You're not. So if the Republican Party doesn't get somebody who's a little more moderate, a little more center, and is talking about, some things that are going to unify the country, I don't think they can put a DeSantis there and be successful if Trump's not there. Trump's already dividing the country. Now you're going to bring another guy who wants to do the same thing? I don't believe that's going to happen.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, Florida is becoming like the blueprint for like calamity. Like if you want to mix stuff up, Trump started it. Like Mar-a-Lago, Trump, all this stuff going on there, and he has a following, right? I think I don't agree from the standpoint that I think that base needs someone to follow. And I don't think that they're just gonna all disappear if Trump goes to jail. They're gonna follow somebody. And my thought is Ron DeSantis is creating a blueprint for those types of people to be embraced, because you got to think about this. These prejudice people ain't gone nowhere. They always been there. Yeah. They just had no one to follow.
Tea Party.
They just had but the Tea Party still they didn't have like a one figure that kind of brought them all together, and they got that. And then all of these people, like you said, they at Disney with Nazi signs. They doing all of this stuff because they have someone to follow now. And I think that if something happens to Trump, they will try to embrace someone else. Your point is valid. He was a celebrity. Easy one to follow. Yeah. Easy one to follow after. He already got a namesake. He already been out there in the media. He knows, and he's smart, even though he does things that people don't agree. He is smart. He does things that are smart in a smart way, and that's how he got to where he got. Yeah. But I don't agree that, like, DeSantis, I think this is a blueprint that they're creating for how to make it acceptable to be unacceptable. Mm-hmm.
But I think it may be fractured. Mm-hmm. I get it. Like, they're going to have to find somebody, to rally with. But I think it'll become a fractured party. I do. I think some are very extreme. Just like a liberal or Democrats, You think they'll break up into a new party? I think they'll break up. I think something will happen there. And because nobody's strong enough. If you look at we shouldn't look at polls, but if you look at all the rest of them are about the same percentage underneath after Trump.
And Florida's always had that mindset. It's just Jeb and all the Bush boy. He was soft. Yep. Florida was looking for that.
They always have been that.
The Bush is that's a family of politicians. They know how to play politics. I did some reading up on the Bushes. Tell you what, man, the Bushes basically did the Iran war, set up Halliburton, set up all these companies, made their money, and got the hell out. Yeah, they were. You don't see George W. Bush out there on the lecture scene. You never seen him supporting Trump or anybody like that. What ex-presidents, think about it. When Biden ran, you saw Obama come back. You don't see George W. Bush coming back. Them Bushes don't want none of what they did to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, George you don't even see. He's one of woman size of Michelle Obama. He just want to be relevant.
Yeah. You don't even see him in Texas.
Yeah, they besties over there. Yeah, so he gonna sit down.